Welcome everyone. Adam the Woo here. As the recording of this, it is Sunday, March 19th, 2023. Today's going to be a casual day. Today's going to be a very kind of relaxing day. Maybe a little walking around downtown Celebration Market Street, which each and every Sunday. I believe it's from 11 to 1 or 10 to 1, don't quote me on that, but it's early morning, well, mid-morning until just afternoon, 1 or 2 p.m., depending on the time of the year. They do, I guess you can call it a farmer's market, an art market, a downtown little get-together of a lot of local people who sell their wares and sell their products. It's always pretty nice and enjoyable, and the weather is great. It's 55, 56 degrees, give or take. It is beautiful, cool, crisp. I love the cold. And I have to admit, I won't say I'm exhausted, but I'm a little tired. The last series of days since I've been on the road for a while, traveling, got back in town. Jet lag, I guess you could say, is a real thing. Maybe not, but I'm feeling a little tired. I think maybe the time change has a lot to do with that. I stated this a couple days ago. Recently renewed my gym membership and walking more steps when I go to the theme parks. I'm trying to walk a little bit more than I have been walking, and also with the consistency of trying to be on a treadmill for 45 minutes. I've been doing that, you know, not every day, but pretty consistently. And I think the combination of all that and going pretty much non-stop with the videos and travel and all that has kind of worn me down just a little bit. All right, I'm inviting you on this walk and talk to join me. Thank goodness for coffee. Shall you? I used to be hooked on lattes. In fact, I still like lattes and all that, all the good stuff that they have at Starbucks and whatnot. Usually, I prefer more Dunkin' or Joffrey's or Tim Hortons. If I'm in certain areas of the country, more northern or towards the Canada line and all that. But I really have started to not dislike Starbucks as much as I used to dislike it. I don't know why. I'm just maybe it's just kind of growing on me. And on a side note, out of all the times I've stopped inside the coffee stand over there, the Starbucks, this is probably the busiest I've ever seen it outside of a non-event, you know, like the Christmas nights or Halloweens and things like that, where they do a lot of stuff. Now granted, they are doing the Sunday downtown little, you know, for sale booths and whatnot, but as far as like a big event going on, I mean, the Starbucks line was really long. And I kind of learned a little trick, or I took the advice of my friend Daphne, who every time I go in to get a latte and I have to wait around for a while, she would say, I'm just going to get a regular coffee, like a Pike's Place. And usually they'll just, whoever's behind the counter, you know, ringing you up, will just turn around and just pour it right there. And you don't have to go through the whole process of one of the baristas making your drink. And you save a lot of time. So I've kind of honed in on that advice. And that's what I do now. I just go with like a Pike's Place, even though Pike's Place was out. So I just said, give me whatever you got. I think this, I can't remember what it was. I think it's called a blonde roast, but same difference. You turn around, they give you the coffee right then and there, and you're out the door. Little hack, little Daphne hack. I kind of made a promise to myself. I don't know if I just mentally said it or said it out loud. I may have mentioned it in passing, but I'm trying to go harder this year as far as travel plans and doing things than I've ever done in any year ever. Now, you know, granted, I'm continuously gone, road trips, travels, things like that. But this year I'm trying to do it more than I have ever done it. I'm trying to go for the gusto over the next, at least this year, and maybe even the next year. So I'm going full all in. You know, this entire 2023. And I'm not saying it's really like getting to me already, but definitely is going to be an adventure. In fact, I spent a good portion of the morning booking a lot more flights, hotel rooms, rental cars, things like that for the rest of this year. I spent a lot of the morning doing that. What I'll try to do, what I usually will always do, is I will book things way ahead of time. So even if I'm doing something in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month ahead, later in the year, I try to always book my flights, rental cars, hotels. That way when it comes time to it, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind, and it's already done. So this is Archie here wearing a very sweet Buc-ee's, because it's kind of cold out here, Archie. You got You're wearing a Buc-ee's shirt also.
That's right.
You're doing you guys
Excited
are both
for the Ocala location.
When does that open?
I have no idea.
And of course, because this is a celebration, there's always a lot of hidden Mickeys and Minnies and Disney type of items that are kind of scattered around through here appropriately. And even in Central Florida, it just seems like can never escape Hollywood. It's always on my mind. I love Southern California. This is just such a great weekly event that they have down here. It's just awesome that they do this. I love living here. It's such a great place to live. Speaking of traveling, I will be departing out of town. Well, not necessarily out of town, but out of state. Going to be starting to leave the state tomorrow. Not for an expansive amount of time, just for a series of days. So I just really can never sit still. And again, that's kind of like, let's say it's my motto, but it's definitely what I want to do this year. And doing a lot more flying than I have done in the past. I'm just trying to kind of mix it up. And obviously the baseball season, which has yet to start. Also, speaking of baseball, man, the World Baseball Classic that's been going on has been awesome. And I have to say, the Tampa Bay Rays are really representing Jason Adam in it as well. And of course, Randy Arozarena is really, man, if Randy keeps playing like he is playing in the World Baseball Classic for the preseason before the Rays have their home opener, and he plays that way during the regular season, man, the Rays are going to have a good year if he's on fire this year. But that's a whole other thing. This fountain is really just kicking it today. Look at this. This thing is in full mode. I think my coffee's starting to kick in too. I'm getting a little excited, or maybe it's the fountain is just going overboard. I don't know if I've seen the fountain this excited before. I think this fountain is like full on. Okay, all right. It's over, it's done. And just to get back on that subject of jet lag, you know, like, I'm not really sure what the jet lag means. Like jet, you're on a plane. I don't know what the lag stands for. Maybe you're just like lagging. Yeah, you're lagging a little bit. I never really like noticed it until like recently. I think maybe because I've been flying more than I've ever flown before. But yeah, just the last series of days, just I'm kind of confused on like what coast I'm on and what time it is. And just my sleep schedule's a little bit off, which is, for me, is different. No skating. The grinding property has been treated with skate stoppers. A walkway deterrent system. Skate stoppers. It's like a TV series. It could be like a TV series. These are them right here. Skate stoppers. So, my usual routine. I usually go to bed around midnight. I wake up around 6:30 a.m. like clockwork, no matter what coast I'm on. Sometimes it varies by an hour, give or take, on both ends of that. But, oh, there's like something bubbling up in the water over here. But lately, it's like it'll be 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm not even tired. I want to go to bed sometimes till 2. I try to wake up at 6, and then it's like 8. And then I have to edit the previous day's video. Usually I'll edit half the video. So this is kind of how I go about doing things. I'll edit half the video at night, the other half in the morning, about an hour. It takes me about 2 hours to edit each day. Man, not necessarily 2 hours, but give or take. And I'll do an hour, 1 hour at night, hour the next morning, and then I'll upload it. But sometimes when I don't wake up until 8 a.m. instead of 6 a.m., that puts me like, you know, an hour or two behind, and then it kind of throws the whole day off. So I'm definitely a creature of habit. When my habit is changed just a couple hours, kind of makes you think like, what reality am I living in? Messes with your head a little bit. If you look closely in the middle of the screen, there's Howard the duck. And then if you pan, oh, it's a decoy duck, he's not a real duck. And then over here in the middle, look it up, there is something bubbling up. Maybe it's the Celebration version of the Loch Ness Monster there. About to like pop its head out. Maybe. One thing I get asked pretty often by friends and family is, why the heck are you doing this every day when you've been doing this for so long? And I think my only real reason, well, I have a couple different reasons, but it keeps me motivated, it keeps me, I don't want to say sane, but it's just my habit, it's what I do. It's my routine for now. I'm not going to do this forever, but you know, one day I'll stop. But for now, I'm doing this. And just a couple other reasons other than the fact that it's just, you know, force of habit. It's what I do. It's what I enjoy doing. Putting things out into the YouTube world. And there are people that enjoy it. I enjoy doing it, and there's a lot of people who enjoy and get that routine as well. So this is kind of my routine. But there's also people who have the routine watching my routine. The internet you know, sometimes it's not the greatest place, but sometimes it's pretty dang awesome. And I think what I'm doing and what people enjoy, I think is pretty dang awesome that this exists. Now, I've kind of explained this before over the years, but I'll kind of mention it again on the way I make a living, the way I make money is off of, you know, ads on the videos. I don't accept any sort of crowdfunding. I don't sell merchandise. I don't do any live streams, any super chats. I do not ask for any sort of money from anyone, any kind of kickbacks. I don't do sponsorships. I don't do anything like that. So the way I make a living is by putting out videos, and the ads on those videos is what gives me a paycheck. That's how I'm able to afford to travel, pay rent, book rental cars, flights, things like that, and not accept money from anyone outside of what I'm getting from YouTube. And it's interesting because as long as I've been doing this, I still do okay every year. It hasn't decreased since I've been doing this. I've been doing this like what, 11 years? I mean, not the daily 11 years, but I guess the daily's getting pretty close to 10. I think I quote unquote quit over 10 years ago in 2017, took a little time off and then kind of went back with it. Now I probably do 330 videos a year. I don't think I've missed a day in a couple months though. You know, thousands of videos on both channels and the way residuals work. You know, I do okay financially, and by me consistently putting videos out, it really makes it easy not to do those other things that I mentioned. So that's another factor on why I'm always continuously just staying busy, putting stuff out there. And that way I don't have to resort to using those other, you know, crowdfunding mechanisms and things like that. I also kind of take the tortoise and the hare approach where, well, maybe that's not a good analogy, but I try to take the approach where you put a lot out there that has consistency. And I'm pretty thankful for the audience that I've kind of developed over the years, you know, the connection of people who are into a little bit of everything. I do a wide variety of things, filming locations, travels, theme parks, you know, even flight videos now, baseball videos, movie locations, and pretty much all my videos, some will spike up and get dramatic amount of views, but most of the videos stay at a consistent ratio, you know, like within a certain range view-wise, from the worst video to the best video of the whole month are pretty close in proximity. And then I'll have one video out of like every 7 or 10 that'll kind of spike up and get a lot of views. But I kind of look at it as, okay, you put 2 videos up a week or 3 videos a week, even if those videos do really well, you're still getting average views 7 days a week, going to get more total views and make a little more income than you would by just putting out 2 videos a week that get a lot of views. Tortoise and the hare approach, which isn't a good analogy, but that's the best way I can describe it. And that's kind of what I go for. And I also like the fact that I could just keep putting stuff out. People enjoy it. I enjoy doing it until I figure out a final date. Now, I have announced that I would like to not do this past the age of 50, which would be August 10th of next year. So August 10th of 2024. I don't know if that'll happen. But, you know, I would somewhere around that time frame or a little after like to end the daily thing, stockpile some money, have a good savings, have a nest egg, if you will, because of what I just mentioned. And then I can move on to other projects. And because I'm doing continuous, you know, travels and videos and kind of knocking a lot of bucket lists off, one day I won't have to. I'll be done. And I can move on to other projects. And I don't even know what those other projects will be. As it goes right now, my thoughts on things now is I really enjoy doing what I'm doing. Sometimes I'll go through ebbs and flows of like the desire to want to do this, you know, kind of get disappointed with things, and sometimes the 10% of the internet that's not awesome will really kind of tap into your mind. It'll play tricks on YouTube is a double-edged sword. It can really get inside your head. And right now, it's not in my head. Right now, things are really great. I'm getting like a good vibes from doing all this, and I'm just gonna continue doing it. Probably for a pretty good while. Continue doing the daily videos. I mean, I might take a day off here and there, but I'm in the zone right now. Things are good. And does my future mean that I will be settling down forever here in Celebration? Who knows? I'm saying probably not, but you never know. In fact, I've been giving that a lot of thought lately too. Like, where will I end up? Where will I end up? My mind's always thinking. But as of right now, I am really content and happy with being here. I love living here. It's also because it's not scorchingly hot right now. The weather is really nice. So that's probably like really helping my attitude right now, because the heat, not a fan. And since I'm just kind of rambling, I think I'm gonna take a long walk on a short pier, because the pier ends down here at this concrete wall, but talk about a couple other things. They were cones. Sometimes I feel like I am an outcast when it comes to the YouTube platform. Just as far as how, maybe it's because of when I started and why I started. Never knew you can make money off doing this, never knew. That was never my intention. I didn't go into this to be a business or anything like that. I didn't go into this. Look at this, floating bags. Floating bags are beautiful. But I didn't go into this. I'm gonna stick that right there. I'm gonna come back and get it in a minute. Put it in the trash. But I didn't go into this thinking that it would be, you know, a profitable endeavor. Now there was a time, there definitely was a time when I was starting off and wasn't doing as well. You know, I lived in the van for a long time, slept in the van, slept in parking lots, traveled, and I was inclined to start, you know, some crowdfunding, Patreon and all that, and I had merchandise. But I think it was probably a year or two ago. A year, let's call it a year. Maybe a year, I don't know, don't quote me on that, but it's been a while ago. I just completely disintegrated all of that. And I've never done like any kind of like hosted stuff. I've never like had someone pay for something and I would put it in a video and say, you know, I'm doing this for this reason. A lot of people do. In fact, I think everyone does. You'd be hard pressed to really find maybe 1% of people who have any sort of audience on this platform that don't do that. And that's perfectly fine. It's just not the way I really do things, or have ever really done anything, and completely like abolished all that. But I feel like sometimes that maybe, well, I'm gonna say maybe I'm not doing things the right way, but I feel like I'm kind of the anti-YouTuber. I don't know, I feel like I could be making probably a heck of a lot more money than I'm making right now. And I don't know, I'm kind of fine with not. And as stated, I'm kind of past the point where I would even need to be comped on anything. And it's just my way. You know, it also helps in a lot of other ways too, from my mental well-being, to just know I'm doing things myself. I've just always been kind of a DIY kind of guy, where it's like, I just do everything myself. Everything. This whole channel has always been me. Always will be me. I'll have other people in the videos. A lot of friends do the same thing. Some friends that don't do this. But it's just kind of always been me. And there's been one or two occasions in past years where I've done, you know, accepted things and whatnot, but it's been a while, and it's just not how I want to do things anymore. It hasn't been for a long time. So just know that anything I'm doing is coming out of my own pocket. It is brisk out here. I think maybe the jet lag got into my head and maybe just want to spout some things off. I don't know, it's just been something that's been on my mind again recently. I mentioned it a year or two ago, but I feel like it needs reiterating. I just want people that watch me and my viewers to know exactly where I stand on you know, how I make an income and why I do this and why I go about things the way I do, and just my philosophies in 2023, and pretty much has been the same for the last series of years and will be, you know, carrying on. That's gonna do it for today. I'll see you in the next video. The vlog is over.